My name is Victoria, and for my research proposal, we will be discussing challenges faced by law enforcement in combating human trafficking. The first question we will explore is how exactly does human trafficking differ across different parts of the world? The forms and methods of trafficking differ widely across different regions. For example, in Eastern Europe, sex trafficking and organized criminal networks may be much more prevalent, while in North America or Western Europe, trafficking may involve online exploitation or forced domestic work. Here is how understanding problems faced in different regions can actually help combat human trafficking in our own region. For starters, we can learn from other people's experiences. By studying how other regions deal with trafficking, we can learn what strategies have worked and what mistakes to avoid. Number two, recognizing pattern and trends. Human trafficking networks often operate across borders. Understanding how traffickers work in other areas actually help law enforcement spot connections and movements that may affect our region. 3. Adapting effective policies. Comparing our region with others help highlight what's unique about our own challenges. This makes it easier to design targeted solutions. So, in short, understanding the problems faced in other regions give law enforcement and policymakers valuable insight into what works, what doesn't, and why. This is an image drawn by a trafficking survivor, which brings us onto our second question. How effective are victim rehabilitation programs in actually helping victims reintegrate into society? Knowing how effective victim rehabilitation programs are in helping victims reintegrate into society is extremely important for two reasons. One, victim rehabilitation is linked to law enforcement success. Law enforcement work doesn't end with rescuing victims or arresting traffickers. 2. It provides a victim-centered perspective. A purely enforcement-focused approach overlooks human impact of trafficking. Thirdly, can legalizing certain form of sex work reduce sex trafficking or make it worse? Our fourth question is, are we focusing more on rescuing victims rather than actually dismantling trafficking networks? Many anti-trafficking operations prioritize rescue missions and victim recovery, which are crucial but are often short-term. However, without targeting and dismantling the criminal organizations behind trafficking, these efforts only treat the symptoms of the problem and not the root causes. While rescuing victims is an important and necessary goal, putting too much focus on rescue efforts can take attention and resources away from the larger task of dismantling the criminal networks behind human trafficking. This creates a challenge for law enforcement, which already struggles with limited resources, public pressure, and the difficulty of carrying out deep investigations. Exploring this issue helps the study determine whether current approaches are truly effective in reducing human trafficking in the long run. For my data collection, I have spoken to someone who I can interview for the research proposal. I asked if they are comfortable with the idea. They are okay as long as it is anonymous. This will be done in the format of a qualitative survey where I will focus on the person who can provide deep insight on social workers, shelter providers, law enforcement, and healthcare professionals. This will be done as an open-ended questionnaire where they will be able to answer at their own pace. This form of data collection is perfect as it is useful for their anonymity and safety. I will also be using secondary data from existing reports and articles. Lastly, for my data collection, I will be using unstructured observation. This is a qualitative research method where I will record behaviors and events in their natural setting without predefined guidelines or checklists. This type of observation will be flexible and open ended, allowing me to document everything that seems relevant, including unexpected or spontaneous occurrences. Of course, everything will be conducted in a safe and controlled setting. I believe using unstructured observation is the most fit for my study. That way, I can avoid the Hawthorne effect. In conclusion, my hypothesis is that studying human trafficking patterns, policies, and prevention strategies from other regions improves our ability to combat human trafficking in our own region by providing effective models and exposing shortcomings in our current approaches.